I feel I'm different than other Arab or Muslim people who came here. I chose to come here because I couldn't live anymore in Saudi Arabia. It wasn't an economical problem, it wasn't war, it was the society that drove me away. And coming here was saving my life. I'm writing my face. Hear me, O home, and hold your judgment until the moment is over. I was born in a city called Hufuf in the eastern province of Saudi Arabia. When I was growing up, I was not discouraged to do art, but I was giving the impression that it's not really something I should spend time in doing or learning. My mother and my father wanted me to be highly educated, so they encouraged me to be a doctor. I was a very obedient child, which wasn't very good, but I became a doctor because I just thought this is what I should do. I went to medical school in Egypt, and then I returned to Saudi Arabia. It is really hard to talk about Saudi Arabia because it's complex, complicated. I don't know why things happen this way. Saudi Arabia is a really unique country within the Middle East and within the Arab countries. There is a lot of restriction and limitations for women in Saudi Arabia. Every woman has to have a guardian. He is the one who makes the decisions about her life. If you're a woman and grown up in that environment, you'll feel that you are less because of all this. I was working in Riyadh King Faisal Specialist Hospital as a cardiologist. I had decided that it is time for me to leave Saudi Arabia, and I was working on a chance to go out. In 1997, I got a fellowship to Mayo Clinic in echocardiography, and that was the chance. So I took it and came here and spent 2 years in Mayo Clinic. I wasn't that excited about it. I just wanted to be good at what I did until there was a point when I realized that I will never be satisfied, no matter how many certificates or how many degrees I got. So at that point, I decided maybe I'd try to become an artist. My work most of the time speaks about women and Middle Eastern women or women from Arab history. And it is more meaningful to use a medium that is also used by those women. So I use henna in my art and screen printing. I use it as an ink. Henna sticks to wool and silk and animal tissue. So it will stain it and remain there. I do screen printing and I do installation. But my first love is the line. I like to draw. Traditionally, figures are not favored in Islamic art. There are different explanations. One of them that I grew up with is that only God can create image, so you should not try to be God. I love to draw figures. They express what I want to say more. That's why I wanted to, when I talk about Islam, and all the taboos that don't make sense to me and make me feel that there are just barriers against opening our eyes and see what is true and what's false.
The issue of figural imagery in the world of Islam, in the art of Islam, is somewhat misunderstood. Many people will tell you that there's a passage in the Quran that prohibits the depiction of anthropomorphic or zoomorphic imagery. In fact, that's not really true. What the passage of the Quran really says is that you should not act or try to create as God does. So a very conservative interpretation of this is a prohibition on human and animal imagery. However, the depiction of people who come out of epic poetry or myths, or even people who are actually alive, that is portraiture, is very common and still exists today in some places in the Islamic world.
One of my projects is called Facebook, and it's based on the idea of how social media played in the woman environment in Saudi Arabia. Because they can be on Facebook, they can befriend whoever they want, and a lot of people could have pages or sites that call for women's rights or for citizens' rights. So I thought this is a really good subject. It inspired me for this painting, and I did it also in combination with a poem. And the poem starts with talking about how I, as an artist, try to address the audience who is in Saudi Arabia and they can't see my art, but I want them to see what I'm saying. أنتم من أكتب له، أنتم من أرسم له، أنتم الجمع الذي يتحاشى النظرة السائلة، يتحاشى البحث عن عين الحقيقة، فاسمعوني لدقيقة. It's not one print, it's a series of prints. And the second print, she's finished the poem and now she's standing with a brush facing the audience. There's another woman who was sitting, giving her back to the audience and kind of like cocooned over herself. And she represents the past, my negative side, the submissive woman. She is embedded in a men head cloth, and she's sitting on a rug that made by Bedouin women. I like fabric. It's connected to women. There's a lot of femininity in fabric, and there's a lot of fabric used by women.
The Islamic world was once called by a scholar the draped universe. The role of textiles is amazingly important. You can see this in many of the paintings that survive from the Islamic world. They are studded with carpets, with curtains, with people wearing magnificent robes. And so it seems to me that what she's doing in many ways is pulling together a very, very long tradition of Saudi and Middle Eastern practice and putting it into the context of her ideas of the 21st century and the role of women.
When I first came to the US, I was really angry against Islam. But then I started to see my culture from far away. So I kind of like you go far away from the picture and you see the whole thing. So I saw the beautiful things and the not beautiful things all together. I started to see things in a less black and white version. I see the beauty in the culture, and I see that humans are essentially the same material everywhere. And every culture has the power or the potential to improve itself and to change. I am writing my face. Hear me, O home, and hold your judgment until the moment is over. I grow out of you. Yours is my direction when I pray. Hear me out until the end of the painting. خلاص, finished.